become freaking biohacking queens in the process, where we are tapped into our health, our energy, our soul, and we just get to walk through life saying, heck yes.
Welcome to the Energy Upgrade Podcast. I'm your host, Vanessa Grutman. And if you are a high-achieving woman, a successful entrepreneur, an inspiring entrepreneur, or just a woman with kick-ass big dreams, you're in the right place. If you value your energy, your health, if you want to be a biohacker, tap into longevity, if you want to raise the impact you have in this lifetime, you're going to have a lot of fun around here. As a second-time seven-figure business creator, certified health practitioner, and soul biohacker, I'm here to reconnect you to your energy, to the soul of your business, and to your superpowers. Let's go. Welcome home.
Today, I'm coming here solo to talk to you about your soul's calling. I posted something on the weekend, and one meme was saying, if it is your calling, it will keep calling you. And I've had this conversation with so many clients and so many people in my DMs around this. And, I just wanted to come and talk about this because it is so important. But at the same time, what does it mean? And how the heck do we find our soul's calling? And so here's the response I usually give. You don't find your soul's calling. It's not something that you will find, while taking a course. It's not something you will find while taking a quiz on the internet. It is something that will find you. And it's hard, especially if you are an ambitious woman like me, maybe type A, you like control. It's hard not knowing. It's hard waiting for this calling. But I'm going to give you some hints, because here are some of the conversations I've been having with clients that are telling me, if I'm honest with myself, I've been having this vision for 5 years, for 2 years. I had it last year. This is the vision I had for myself this year. So if you ever caught yourself thinking that, or really having this clear vision at one point in your life, and you decided that it was too bold, too crazy, that it should stay a dream, or you decided to not listen to it because it wasn't the right time, there's some information there. Now, I'm not saying that is your soul calling, but typically, whenever we slow down, so maybe it happens when you go on a vacation, maybe it happens when you go on a beach walk or on nature walk, or whenever we quiet the noise around ourselves, and whenever we are able to actually sit with ourselves and connect with our heart, connect with our thoughts, our mind, usually that's when we're going to start getting some information. Basically, that's when we can start actually hearing the whispers of our soul. And you may have heard this before. What the heck does that mean? Well, it's that little voice. But here's the thing. I always say to my clients, we are walking through life with two little voices. On one side, we have the little voice of the ego, right? Often you may think that little voice may actually remind you of someone. It might be the voice of your mom. It might be the voice of your dad. It might be the voice of, one of your teacher. Don't do this. Say this politely. Be a good girl. Don't cry. That kind of voice. Or that's way too scary. You got that. You're going to fail at this. You're not strong enough for this. So usually the ego, that's the kind of messages it will send you. So it's more like it's those subconscious limiting beliefs that will have you hold back, that will have you stall, that will have you decide not to go for it. And now this ego voice, that little voice, is not all that bad because it is really designed to keep you safe. But when we are trying to connect with our soul's calling, it's clear that it's not going to come from that little voice. Okay. So on one side, we have that little voice. And on the other side, we do have another voice, usually a lot more gentle, usually a lot more subtle, and usually very quiet, like whispers, like it comes and goes. And you kind of have to be in the right mindset to hear it. You have to be in the right frequency to hear it. And if you're not, it'll just fly by. It'll just come in, come out. But if you happen to put yourself in a high frequency state every single day, if you happen to really prioritize your self-care, prioritize your me time, if your morning ritual, for example, is really anchored, and if you happen to be that kind of person that actually opens herself up to the mysterious little whispers, you actually might catch some information there. And so the way to recognize the ego versus the soul calling, the soul, like I said, is very much settled. It's a whisper, and it's usually something that gives you, like it can give you butterfly, but it can also give you almost like a nauseous feeling because it feels so big and so grand. It might come in the form of like, oh my gosh, imagine if we could achieve this. Imagine if this could happen. Imagine if that person was to call us. Imagine if we were to get an email like this. Imagine if we were to make that much money. And like anytime there's like, we are dreaming and it's actually creating a physical sensation in our body as we are thinking and hearing this little voice. So usually it's in human design, it's called a sacral hit. So imagine like a fire within. It could be full body goosebumps. It could feel like butterflies in your stomach. It could feel like you're about to throw up, literally. So anytime you are feeling a physical sensation attached to that little whisper, that is also typically linked to a positive dream or a potential possibility that you are just imagining. So we are basically in the realm of manifestation. So anytime we have all of those things lining up together, that's usually information coming from the soul. Now, this is a crazy thing, and you might not believe this, and we don't really there's a lot of scientific evidences that are leading us to think that this is how it happens. But when we are coming to this world, so when we decide that, we go from being a star to actually deciding to come here in the 3D and come in as a human form, we come in, each and every one of us, we come in with a mission in this lifetime. So each and every one of us, when we decide, okay, now is the time that I'm going to show up in this world, and you might find a little cuckoo, but I tell you, there's a lot of evidences showing that this is how it happens. All of us are born with the same opportunity, but also all of us are born with a very unique mission. And that mission is usually the result of previous lifetime, the result of, something that happened in your lineage that needs closure, something that you're coming here to heal, something that you have transcended, embodied, that you are here to represent, to inspire, to show others. There's so many different missions, right? And so we all come here when we are born with this mission encoded in our DNA, literally in us. It's part of who we are. And as we are coming to life, we get to be exposed to this crazy thing called this world and called life, right? So we get exposed to, of course, our parents, our family, our friends. We get exposed to social conditioning. We get exposed to programming, to schools, the education system, everything that we are led to believe is the way we need to act in life, everything that we are led to believe is the way to success, everything, like all the programming becomes so intense that as we grow up in life, we remember less and less what we came here to do. So as we grow up and we start being programmed into really connecting with the ego, that voice of us that's always challenging us to, you know, be a good girl, be quiet, listen, be polite, smile, say thank you, say yes, all of that. And I'm sure you can understand what I'm talking about here. The more and more we go that way, the less it's possible for us to hear the whispers of our soul, the remembrance of it. And so the mere fact that you are here listening to this conversation is meant to actually activate a remembrance within yourself. So I really invite you to pay attention to your body in this conversation and how it's reacting. Our body is an antenna, and it's always there to help us bring us closer to our original soul's mission. Right. And that's why when you think about the manifestation realm, really what the universe wants us to do is to get closer to the soul mission. Because if each and every one of us is starting to listen to those whispers and is starting to act from that place, which is usually a place of love, a place of self-trust, a place of worthiness, can you imagine how much different the world would be? Can you imagine how this world would actually literally be heaven on earth? And we actually would notice it. And that's really what the universal laws are moving us towards, is to remember that we are love, that we are here to connect and support and help each other. And from a place of worthiness, knowing that we all came here with the same opportunity. Of course, we weren't born in the same conditions, in the same environment, but we all were born here, every single one of us, with a mission. And so now it's our job to navigate this life and remember it and come closer and closer to it. So often I get asked, but how the heck do I know, like, which voice is what? And how the heck do I know when this is my soul mission or not? And like, you're not going to be getting a letter in the mail or an email saying, congratulations, you found your soul calling. Like, oh man, that would be so great, but that's not how it works. It's really a culmination. It's a compounding effect of little moments in time, little choices that you've made where you said yes to something and no to something else, where you stood up for yourself, where you remembered your power, where you used your voice, where you decided to take the leap, where you decided to stretch yourself. And when you start taking these actions, making these choices from not a place of ego, but from a place of deep self-trust, and saying, you know what? I don't know why I have a gut feeling that this is where I need to be. I don't know why. I can't explain it with my rational mind, but I have a feeling like I need to go to this event, or I have a feeling like I need to say yes to this opportunity, or I have a feeling like this person is going to really help me. And so I got to align myself with that person. Right? I'm sure that's happened to you multiple times where you've listened to your gut feeling. Well, your gut feeling is connected to your heart. Your heart is the gateway to your soul. And so the more you start actually taking decisions that are less with your head, which is your ego, and more with your heart, coming from a place of like, I know I'm enough. I know I'm amazing. I know I have lots to share in this world. And I trust that I can lead from that place. I trust that I can make decisions from that place. And I trust that as I do that, the path will reveal itself. And that is how you remember slowly your soul's calling. And here's the thing. Every time you have a gut feeling, but you decide to make a decision based on your mind, every time you're like, yeah, my gosh, I want to say yes, but the timing isn't right. Or, oh my gosh, like I can't do that now. Like it doesn't make sense. My husband doesn't want, or like anytime you are denying yourself of any gut feeling, full, body response, you are getting further away from your soul's calling, but it's not going to go away. It's never going to go away because it is encoded in you. It's part of your DNA, remember? So every time you're making these choices that are getting you further and further away from your soul's calling and your soul's mission, your body starts to get in more and more disalignment. The more and more your body is in disalignment, the more and more we can create dis-ease, because there's less and less ease in the body. You know, when I reflect back on my burnout wasn't related to the number of hours I worked. My burnout was related to me not being in full alignment with my soul's mission, which I didn't know at the time how to recognize my ego voice, my soul's whispers. I didn't know how to decipher through this. And so I went further and further and further away as I was climbing the ladder and doing more of the big things and, you know, opening new locations and doing all the shiny things. And that was actually bringing me in a completely different direction, which was more ego driven and less souls driven. Now, does that mean it was bad? No, it was all fantastic. And I'm all so glad it happened the way it did, because that's what I needed to remember, to start remembering and start just trusting that, you know, there's another way. I don't know what it is. I'm just feeling called right now. And I still remember when I opened my blog in 2020, I had nothing to sell. I had no clue where the heck I was going. I was in burnout. Literally, my hormones had left my body. And it's funny, I had a client the other day ask me, you know, you often say this, but what does that mean? And I'm like, well, it meant when I did my test, I had no testosterone, no DHEA, and barely no progesterone and no estrogen. Literally, they had all left my body. All I was left with was cortisol, which was the stress hormone. Anyway, even that was barely there because I didn't have any progesterone to produce it. Anyway, it was a whole shit show, a nightmare. My body was in such disalignment that it started, you know, the red flags were so big. It was literally my soul trying to get my attention, and it took a while. I just continued to push through and hustle until I just couldn't anymore. And that's what I needed. But I just had this calling that I wanted to start helping women and I wanted to start serving. And I started noticing that I was doing some things differently. And so I just opened my blog I had no clue what the heck I was doing. So that was in 2020. And I started doing a monthly newsletter at the time, again, with no other intention that I'm being called there. I have no idea where I'm going. And then it started creating some reaction, right? Because I was taking action. So therefore, I was creating a reaction in return. And from this reaction, from people being like, oh my gosh, that's such a great idea. Thank you. I tried this. My kids loved it. Or, oh, I never had thought of this. Thank you. This made my day. Or, oh my gosh, I needed to hear this today. Like, from all these things, it started compounding. And it started being information, and it started activating me inside into something that felt like, oh my gosh, like this is where I need to go. And so the path slowly started revealing itself. And at one point it was like, oh my gosh, I want to go deeper. I want to help people more. So I'm going to certify myself to help myself, to heal myself, and then I can help others. And that's like, it just snowballed from that place. But it took for me to take this uncomfortable step of being like, I'm actually going to share a blog, even though I'm not a blogger, I'm not an influencer, I have no clue what I'm doing, but this just feels bigger than me. And so I'm just going to trust it. And so how do we find our soul's calling is literally reconnecting to our self-trust and starting to actually make decisions and choices that are really based on our gut feeling, our heart, like our whole body being like, this is a hell yes. I have no clue where this is going, but trusting that the path will reveal itself. So I just wanted to talk about that today because I'm noticing that this is prevalent right now. And of course it is, because we're entering this new era where we have to rethink what success means. We have to rethink everything, how our entire communities and how everything is structured right now. You know, I don't know how much longer the corporate industry is going to be able to function as it is. There's not a single day where I'm not connecting with a woman in the corporate industry being like, I cannot survive here because here are the standards. It's not realistic. I cannot be successful. I'm fighting against this. I'm fighting against that. I'm not aligned with my soul and I don't have room to grow. And anyway, so I don't think that it's going to last for more than, I don't know. I think we're gonna see a massive shift in the way people do business in the next 5 years. Of course, AI is part of that, but I also think it's part of a lot of us women remembering our soul's missions and coming together actually to bring real services to the world. Because when we remember our soul mission, we start actually acting from a place of like, it becomes effortless. It becomes second nature. Why? Because it is in our DNA. It literally, like, you get to plug in into your superpowers. And of course, that is the conversation in Supernatural right now. So if you are not registered, if you're not in Supernatural, which is my free event right now, we just started yesterday. You got to come and join us. Like, this is the conversation we're having. We are contemplating what would it look like to actually start biohacking our body, our energy, our health, our business, the way we do business, our identity, the way we show up, our self-leadership, our soul. What would it look like if we could bring that level of precision and alignment with our soul's mission? Like, how could this help us beat the odds? All the things we've been told we couldn't do, all the things we've been told, that all the labels we've been given, all the things that we've been told, well, yeah, like that's how we've been doing it in our family, or this, like, it's time to forget about this. It's start to really start deciphering between our ego and our soul. And it's time to start biohacking ourselves and our way to success. Because I tell you, when we bring this level of awareness and precision into our life, that's when we get to actually reconnect with our inner powers. And that's when life gets to be a little bit more effortless. Now, am I saying that every single day I just like jump through flower fields and wait for money to fall from the sky? I always give this example because to me, I have this vision. No, I'm working hard. I'm showing up. I'm doing the work. I'm taking care of myself. I'm serving my clients to the best of my capacity. I'm thinking about innovative ways to serve all of you. I'm thinking about, like, I'm working hard, but at the same time, it's easy. Meaning, like, people always ask me, like, how do you come up with new stuff all the time? I don't. It's easy. It's right there. It just flows right out of me. I don't have to, I don't have to do like massive brainstorming sessions. It just comes to me. The path keeps revealing itself because I'm in this deep level of self-trust, knowing that I'm the one. I am the one here to bring this mission to life. There's nobody else that can bring this fam biohacker movement that I have in mind, where we get to completely redefine the way we achieve success and life fulfillment in life. And we get to completely redefine every single thing we've been told in our life. And we get to act from this place of soul alignment and actually like become freaking biohacking queens in the process, where we are tapped into our health, our energy, our soul. And we just get to walk through life saying, heck yes. And we get to be of service, and we get to change lives, and we get to embody the change we want to see in the world, instead of complaining, instead of finding excuse, instead of being in the victim mindset. Like, no more of this. And just for a second, tune in with me into this vision of all of us. Imagine all of us, ambitious women, ambitious leaders listening to this. Imagine if for a second we all tapped into this infinite potential within ourselves, this DNA encoding that we all got when we came here in this lifetime. We all got to remember how amazing we are and that love is the answer. And we all get to act in our businesses from that place. Can you imagine for a second how this world can change? And I have young kids, and I don't like whatever's happening in the world that is so like brutal and chaotic and sad. I decide to plug into this higher vision for the future because I have evidences every single day that this is what I'm creating. I see it every day in the women I work with. I see their embodiment. I see their self-leadership, like going to like just being leveled up to a whole new level. I'm witnessing their visions coming to life. I'm witnessing their remembrance. I'm witnessing the effortlessness that gets to happen. I'm noticing how they can start walking into this life with so much more pleasure, alignment, which creates inevitably more abundance, more freedom, more sovereignty. So imagine if all of us were walking this path instead of choosing the path of fear and what we are being shown. Imagine the future we can create for our children if we not only model this here and now, but also start creating businesses and start creating, it just lights me up and it gets me actually super emotional because this is it. This is why we all came here. And this is why you are magnetized to my message. You are a light worker, you are a light warrior, and we have all of us that are feeling like this sacral hit right now. We have to follow this hit. We have to follow the light. We have to be the light. This is why we're here. So if you are feeling this in your body right now, as I'm speaking, if you are feeling something shifting, not only do you need to get your ass into supernatural right now, which is just an extraordinary vortex of hundreds and hundreds of women who share this vision right now. The more we are here doing this work silently behind the scenes, the more we work on ourselves and we biohack ourselves and our body and our businesses and our soul, and the more we bring this level of precision to the table, the more we can start building this world together. And that's my mission. That's why I'm here. It's big, and it's my why. And so if that's calling you, if that's creating a remembrance within you, well, imagine what 5 days of this could do. 5 days of conversations like this. That's what's happening right now in Supernatural. I'm going to put the link in the show notes. If you can't find it, just DM me Supernatural. I'm going to send you the link right away. You have access to the replay. It doesn't matter if you missed the first day. Come. We are meeting every single day at 9 a.m. Pacific time, 12 p.m. Eastern time for an hour. Every day I'm giving you like information like this to help you like just remember these codes. They are inside of you. And my goal is just to shake them up and help you remember why you're here. And it's big. It's big. It's big. And the potential ahead of you, the potential within you is massive. And so you owe it to yourself to come and explore this. So come and join the vibe, join the vortex. I hope you can feel my passion and my dedication to this mission. It like I can feel myself buzzing right now. It's so good. It gets to be so juicy. It gets to be this good. It just gets to be this good. And I know that it's just going to get better and better. So Supernatural, let's all tap into this. Let's all plug into this frequency. And this is how you're going to remember your soul's calling. I hope to see you there. Thank you for being here. I hope I didn't freak you out with this message, but this is what I believe to be true. And I can't wait to dive deeper into this. Okay, I love you. Thank you for being here, ambitious women. I can't wait to see you very soon, either here in Supernatural or on the internet. Okay, talk to you soon.
The information shared on this podcast is for information purposes only and doesn't provide any medical advice. Vanessa Grutman does not cure, diagnose, or treat disease. Please consult your physician before trying any new protocol or product.